Think about your last meeting or professional development engagement. How did it go? Sometimes we can lose track of how adults learn best when we feel rushed or the topic is urgent. Here are 3 simple social and emotional learning practices that can help you create an effective learning space for adults, even when time is tight. First, start with a welcoming routine or ritual. Then make sure there are engaging communication practices along the way. Finally, end with an optimistic closure. When carefully chosen, well facilitated, and thoughtfully debriefed, the 3 signature social-emotional learning practices create a solid foundation of safety and joy for adult learning. They're also aligned with culturally responsive teaching, restorative justice, PBIS, and trauma-informed practices. Why do they work? The 3 signature social-emotional learning practices are based on research on adult learning. The research tells us that adults learn best when they are involved in their own learning, can use their own experiences, and are working with topics that are immediately relevant and problem-centered. You may already be using some of these practices in your meetings and professional learning engagements. Consistently building them in and intentionally connecting them to the goals of each session is what makes them powerful levers of change. First, let's look at welcoming rituals and routines. The predictability of a routine to open a gathering helps establish safety and inclusion. It promotes contributions from all voices, sets norms for respectful listening, and allows people to connect with one another to foster a sense of belonging. Opening routines also provide a bridge into your goals for the engagement. For example, begin a meeting by checking in with colleagues through a simple sentence starter like, "A success I recently had," "One thing that's new in my life is," or a mindful minute of calm silence to bring everyone into the meeting. Remember that your activity works best when carefully chosen to connect to the work at hand. Next, let's look at engaging practices. Engaging practices foster relationships, cultural humility, empowerment, and collaboration, and involve participants in their own learning. Some examples of engaging practices include 30 to 90 seconds of silent think time before inviting your team to share out, turn to a partner to discuss, make sense of new input, or generate ideas, and varying interactions in partnerships, triads, small groups, and as a whole group. These practices also include brain breaks, valuable moments to switch gears to integrate new information into long-term memory. Otherwise, that new learning can soon be forgotten. The 3rd signature social and emotional learning practice is the optimistic closure. End each meeting or professional learning session by having participants reflect on and then name something relevant that helps them leave on an optimistic note. This provides positive closure, reinforces their learning, and creates momentum towards taking action related to the problem or topic of the meeting or professional learning engagement. For example, you can optimistically close a meeting with a reflective question such as, "What are my next steps?" Or, "What's the next conversation I'm going to have about this and with whom?" You can also invite each participant to offer an appreciation connected to the work or for another participant's contributions. Used thoughtfully, these 3 signature practices are key to creating a welcoming, productive, and collaborative work environment. For more resources on the SEL 3 signature practices, visit ousdsel.org.